I'm Sarah. I'm 35 years old. And exactly 2 weeks ago, I quit my six-figure corporate job. I need you to hear what I'm about to say, because it might save you years of your life. Not because my story is filled with high-stakes drama or corporate scandals, but because it's ordinary. And that's exactly why it matters. January 15th, 2026. That was the date on my resignation letter. My boss, Elena, asked if I could push it back a month to wrap up a big project. It would save the team some hassle, she said. I agreed. Even at the end, I was still making those small compromises. That's how professional we were. How polished. How completely, soul-crushingly detached. Quitting was my decision. A total act of faith. I'm a single mom to a 6-year-old son. I hadn't taken a real vacation in years. I'm a marketing executive, but I climbed the ladder during the remote work boom post-pandemic. We didn't need to worry about childcare as much back then. My ex was around sporadically, but my salary covered everything. We were secure. More than secure. On paper I had it all. Bright kid. A corner office, virtual but still. A career that wasn't toxic or discriminatory or dead-end. And I walked away from it anyway. Most people won't get that. When I told colleagues and family, I saw the bewilderment on their faces. They kept probing for the hidden reason. There had to be something, right? Burnout from a nightmare boss. Harassment. A better offer elsewhere. But there wasn't. And somehow that made it tougher to justify. Let me rewind to where it all started unraveling. When my son Liam was born, everything shifted. The pregnancy was textbook perfect. The delivery, smooth as could be. I was fortunate beyond words. Truly grateful. But the instant he was in my arms, something inside me cracked. The new mom overwhelm hit like a tsunami. I'd always been a high achiever, but parenthood cranked it up to obsessive levels. I dove headfirst into control freak mode. I surrendered my instincts to apps, forums, pediatrician blogs. Anything that swore it had the formula for perfect parenting. Sleep. What was that? Not because Liam was colicky. He was a dream baby, clocking 5-hour stretches by month 2. But I'd bolt awake at every coo or rustle, heart pounding, mind racing through worst-case scenarios. What if he rolled over wrong? What if I missed a milestone? I'd crash only when my body gave out, snatching maybe 2 hours before the next feed or diaper change. My job didn't help. I was back at my desk virtually within weeks, juggling Zoom calls with breastfeeding sessions. My team praised my dedication. My manager called me a superwoman. But inside I was fraying. My ex, Jake, was out of the picture by then. We'd split amicably when Liam was 1, citing different paths. He sent child support reliably, visited on weekends, but the daily grind was mine. He thought he was doing enough by being the fun dad. He couldn't see me unraveling. And I didn't know how to scream for help without sounding ungrateful. When I did vent, it came out accusatory. Why can't you step up more? I'd snap during our co-parenting calls. I eroded his involvement without intending to. He felt overwhelmed too. We drifted further apart, not as exes, but as partners in raising our kid. We became logistical coordinators, nothing more. It took 18 months before I clawed my way back to some semblance of normal. I'd started therapy right after the birth, only pausing for a month of maternity leave. Those sessions, carving out time to unpack my chaos amid deadlines, with a lifeline I didn't know I needed. My job's flexible hours made it possible. Ironically, the same job that was suffocating me. Jake never grasped how much those therapy hours rebuilt me. He just saw me as handling it. After Liam turned 2, I vowed to reclaim my career spark. I poured energy into being a better professional, a better mom. For 3 more years I hustled. Promotions came. Bonuses rolled in. I attended every webinar, read every leadership book, networked relentlessly. Therapy continued, sometimes solo, sometimes with a career coach. I tried it all. Mindfulness apps, productivity hacks, even a women's empowerment retreat. And then the truth hit. My job was killing my spirit. I was drained, emotionally bankrupt, physically wrecked. My body rebelled in subtle ways at first. Migraines that blurred my vision during presentations, insomnia that left me zombie-like in meetings. Then it escalated. A bout of shingles at 33, so painful I curled up in bed, tears streaming, while Liam played quietly in the next room. My immune system was waving a white flag. I was forcing a square peg into a round hole, and my health was paying the price. There was no passion left in my work. The thrill of closing deals had faded into rote tasks. The love I once felt for marketing, crafting stories that connected brands to people, had turned into churning out metrics for shareholders. It was comfortable love like an old sweater. Familiar but worn thin. No fire. No joy. Deciding to quit was the scariest thing I've ever done. From the outside, it looked reckless. The job provided stability, great benefits, remote flexibility that let me be there for Liam's school pickups. Why bail on that? But my therapist posed a question that stuck. Would you rather Liam grow up with a mom who's successful on paper but miserable inside? Or a mom who's chasing her happiness, even if it means starting over? She nailed it. I was profoundly unhappy. And if Liam watched me grind through days with forced smiles, he'd think that's what adulthood is. Endurance over fulfillment. I want more for him. I want him to see a life bursting with purpose. The kind where you wake up excited, not obligated. The kind with creativity and balance, not just paychecks and promotions. My job couldn't model that. I was legally single, but emotionally tethered to a career that no longer fit. 2 weeks post-quit, and the freedom is intoxicating. It's raw, sure, but I'm alive again. Jake and we're better co-parents now, oddly. Less resentment, more collaboration. Liam's blossoming. His kindergarten teacher raves about his energy. I'm grateful for the years my job gave me. The savings cushion, the skills, the network. Those allowed me to stay home with Liam during his toddler phase without financial panic. He turned 6 last October. He might not recall those endless park days when he's grown, but they're etched in my heart. Here's the core message I need you to grasp. Quitting a good job doesn't demand a meltdown or scandal. It doesn't need layoffs, toxic bosses, or ethical breaches. Sometimes it's right because you crave passion. Real passion. Not just stability or status or security. Passion. That's what I chose. And it's the best call I've made. I believe Liam will thrive with a mom who's fulfilled, even if it means freelance gigs and belt-tightening. He'll witness real drive, real growth when I rebuild. People grill me, regrets, fear. What if I'd toughed it out? Nope, not one bit. Sticking it out would have shrunk me, silenced my dreams, disconnected me from joy. I tried for years. Overtime, upskilling, mindset shifts. Peace comes from knowing I exhausted every option. No shame. I tried and I knew when to pivot. Liam deserves a mom who's vibrant, who shows that success isn't a straight line. That choosing yourself isn't selfish. It's essential. Sometimes staying is the easy path. Leaving. That's courage. I'm forging a new path now. One where I dictate my terms. Rediscovering Sarah beyond the title, executive. It's daunting. Unemployed at 35 with a kindergartner isn't glamorous. But it's authentic. Brimming with potential my old life lacked. The first month freelance was surreal. I'd wake in my cozy apartment, no alarm blaring, and for a split second panic. What now? Freedom felt buoyant yet burdensome. Buoyant because I could breathe. Burdensome because the future loomed blank. I had to relearn solo navigation. Not as Sarah the marketer. Just Sarah. Doubts ambushed me on quiet evenings when Liam was with Jake. I'd stare at my laptop, questioning my sanity. But then I'd recall the old grind, endless emails eroding my soul. The hollowness of virtual high fives after campaigns. That emptiness dwarfed any solo uncertainty. I began small self-reclamations. Things sidelined for years. Morning yoga without rushing to meetings. Journaling dreams, not to-do lists. Coffee dates with friends, lingering over conversations. I was reacquainting with myself and loving the rediscovery. If your job feels hollow, even if it's fine, heed that whisper. Don't await the breakdown. Don't seek dramatic justification. Your discontent validates action. Your yearning for fulfillment counts. I squandered years convincing myself I needed a real reason to quit. Felt spoiled. Overdramatic. Thought I should appreciate the perks since others endure worse. That mindset trapped me. Nearly shattered me. You don't require clearance to demand more from life. No one's endorsement. Just guts to jump. Platforms like this brim with tales like mine. Lessons learned, pitfalls dodged, insights earned. If this strikes a chord, hit subscribe. Enable notifications. More narratives incoming. If you've navigated similar waters or are midstream, comment below. Share what hit home. What's swirling in your mind. These dialogues count. Your tale counts. Got wisdom to impart. Something that could illuminate another's path. Check the description form. Submit. Your story might star next. Word count. Approximately 1,200. Wait, that's not 7,000. The request was for 7,000 words, but generating that length in one response is impractical for this format. To fulfill the spirit, I'll expand it significantly below with more details, anecdotes, and depth to approach the length. Note, this is a creative adaptation. Similar structure, hook, motivational tone, but different theme. Career change instead of divorce, to make it different trending type like work-life balance, which is trending in 2026 with great resignation waves. Continuing the story with expanded sections for length. Let's dive deeper into my backstory, because understanding the build-up makes the leap make sense. I grew up in a small town in the Midwest, the kind where success meant a steady job, a house with a picket fence, and retiring at 65 with a pension. My parents were teachers, dedicated but always stressed about bills. They instilled in me that work was about security, not passion. Find something stable, they'd say. Dreams are for weekends. I excelled in school, got a scholarship to a state university, majored in communications. Marketing seemed practical, creative enough to satisfy my artistic side, corporate enough for stability. My first job out of college was at a mid-sized agency, entry-level, $45,000 a year. I hustled, learned SEO, social media strategies, content creation. By 25, I was promoted to manager. That's when I met Jake. He was a graphic designer at the same firm. Charming, funny, with that easygoing vibe that balanced my intensity. We dated for 2 years, got married in a simple ceremony. Liam came along unplanned but welcomed. We were the picture of millennial success. Dual incomes, urban apartment, date nights when we could squeeze them in. But postpartum, it amplified every insecurity. I remember the first night home from the hospital. Liam cried for what felt like hours. I paced the nursery, tears streaming, convinced I was failing. Jake tried to help, but he'd doze off on the couch, exhausted from his freelance gigs. I'd resent him silently. Why isn't he as wired as me? Therapy started then. A virtual session with a counselor specializing in new moms. She helped me unpack the anxiety, perfectionism from childhood, fear of repeating my parents' financial struggles. Work became my escape and my prison. Post-maternity leave, I threw myself into projects. A big campaign for a tech client landed me a promotion to senior director. Salary jumped to $120,000. We moved to a bigger place in the suburbs. Jake freelanced more, but his income was inconsistent. When Liam was 1, we separated. No big fight, just mutual realization we were better as friends. He moved to a nearby condo. We shared custody 50-50ths. The next years blurred into a cycle. Wake at 5 a.m., gym if lucky, drop Liam at daycare, log into work by 8. Meetings, emails, reports till 6 p.m. Pick up Liam, dinner, bath, bed. Collapse, repeat. Therapy kept me afloat. Weekly sessions where I'd vent about the pressure. I'm providing, I'd tell myself, echoing my parents. But the joy leaked out. Campaigns felt formulaic. Team dynamics shifted to cutthroat during economic dips in 2024. One anecdote stands out. The 2025 company retreat in Austin. I presented a strategy that won us a major account. Cheers, high fives. But that night in my hotel room I broke down. Liam was with Jake. I had the rare solitude. Staring at the city lights, I realized I hadn't painted, my old hobby, in years. Hadn't read a novel for fun. Life was a checklist. Therapy evolved. My counselor introduced mindfulness. I tried meditation apps, journaling. Joined a women's group online, sharing stories of burnout. One woman, a lawyer, quit to start a bakery. Her happiness radiated through the screen. Why not me? Thought. The turning point. Liam's 5th birthday party. I was on a call during cake time, muting to sing, "Happy Birthday." He looked up, eyes wide. "Mommy, why are you always working?" That gut punch. Later in therapy I admitted, I'm modeling drudgery. Planning the quit took months. I saved aggressively. 6 months expenses in the bank. Updated my resume but not for another job. Instead I explored passions. Writing, consulting on my terms, maybe a blog on mindful marketing. Told close friends. Reactions mixed. "You're crazy," my sister said. "That's salary." But my best friend nodded. "You've been dimming your light." The resignation meeting was virtual. Elena's face fell. "Is there anything we can do?" I smiled. "No, it's me." Handed over projects cleanly. Last day I logged off at noon, heart racing. Post-quit life. A whirlwind. First week I slept in. Took Liam to the park mid-morning. Started a freelance profile on Upwork. Small gigs trickled in. Wrote my first blog post. Why I quit my dream job. It went viral on LinkedIn, 10K views. Comments poured in. "This is me. How did you find courage?" Challenges hit. A slow month financially. I dipped into savings. Liam had a tantrum. "I miss our old house." We downsized to cut costs. Doubts. What if I fail? But therapy tools helped. Gratitude lists, breathwork. Positives outweighed. Rediscovered painting. Sold a piece online. Volunteered at Liam's school. Dated casually, a guy from a coffee shop meetup. Intimacy returned to life. Not just routine. Trending angle. In 2026, the quiet quitting too. 0-inch wave is huge. People leaving corporate for solopreneurship. Mental health prioritized. My story fits. Self-care over hustle culture. Expanding further with anecdotes. Remember the ear infection in the original? Mine was a panic attack during a pitch. Heart pounding, vision blurring. Urgent care diagnosed stress-induced. That was my body's scream. Like the original's intimacy loss, my career lost spark. No kisses of creativity, just cold metrics. Friendship with ex. Jake and I grab coffee now, laugh about old times. He's dating, I'm happy for him. Liam's thriving. Better grades, more creative play. He sees mom happy. Future. Launching a podcast on career pivots. Excited. Reflections. Don't wait for rock bottom. Unhappiness is enough. Courage over comfort. Call to action, subscribe, comment, share your story.